Okay. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, that's a nice smile, Jennifer. That is the smile of the meeting. You get smile of the day. Okay, this is 205 and 207. And for those of you who have been working with students with courses in the new program, CJ 112 and 120, also SCS 285, thank you for all of your support. 112 is actually doing pretty well. 120, we're moving along pretty well there. We are working to take out as many bugs as possible. I'm getting some great feedback on 112 and 120 from the instructors. So any improvements that need to be made are already in progress with the design team, etc. And we're working hard to make sure that these courses are lean and mean and they don't get out of hand too quickly on a student. Some of these things, just to preface this course and other courses coming, may seem a little dense. Some of the mods may seem like there's an awful lot, say 4 to 5 different tasks. More often than not, there's going to be a couple of quizzes, right? Just check your knowledge and one other quiz along with maybe a journal assignment, etc., discussion board. So it may seem that way, but one of the I think your dialogue with your students should be at least incorporate into your dialogue preparation. That not to be afraid, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, but they're not, super time-consuming tasks. They're all designed to help guide them through the mods with confidence, i.e. the check your knowledge quizzes are great confidence builders and gives the students kind of a starting point or foundation as to what they know and what they can apply. And again, part of the dialogue you want to have with your students who may not be used to competency-based education with outcomes is that this is not a stand and deliver method, right? It's not traditional. They may be used to, here's some information regurgitated in an essay and I'll catch you later. And here's your 4.0. That's not the way it is. As you'll see, the projects here and all projects throughout the entire program are about doing something, presenting, creating. They're going to have to demonstrate very strong critical thinking skills because there's a very kinesthetic approach, okay, to our ability to assess and evaluate whether or not they're getting it, right? So in 205, Policing the United States. Now that may seem like a reasonably traditional title for a reasonably traditional course, okay? But in essence, you'll see it's not necessarily so. What I would ask is, you'll see here, there's a link, and this is recorded naturally, but these are all hyperlinked, and I will get this to the advising leads, etc., as quickly as I can, because you can click on this, all of these things actually. And I would encourage you to take a look at the Designer's Corner videos. They're being done by the network IDs, the course designers, developers, etc. And what they really do is they really talk about the philosophy of the course, what can be expected. They originally were designed for faculty, so they really understood. Faculty need to make a transition too. Most of them are not used to teaching a competency-based program / course. So I would encourage you, they're really professionally done. They are done by the narrators, or the speakers are people that are involved in the design of the program, the design of the courses. So take a look at those. And the syllabus right here, which we shall just take a quick peek at that. And here's the 205 syllabus. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. We'll take a look at the chunks, but here's the course description, right? They're going to explore the historical evolution of policing. Great, that's traditional. To better understand, why we are where we're at now and how it functions and how it continues to change and its functionality. The value of positive community relationships and partnerships will be covered. You see that? So we're already diving into many of the traits and characteristics of community policing, all the tenets and foundations of developing these community relationships. Remember, this program is also most of the curriculum and most of the core and the themes and the philosophy of the program in response to some of the negative trends that have affected policing and public safety over the last few years. And part of that, we realize, has been a big deficit in our ability to communicate with excellence, to communicate and develop cultural competency, etc. So not to be too full of hot air right now. You understand where we're going with this, but it's more important your students understand. They're going to be asked, how do you do this? Okay? And it does include, sworn and civilian positions who work together to maintain public safety. It's about collaboration, communication, okay, all that sort of thing. A real matrix of support within the community. The book is very good. The late John Dempsey was a friend of mine. He was a very good writer, a retired New York City captain, and etc. So you can see, you guys understand the grading system and the grading guide. Now, this is what I wanted to just touch on briefly. You come to one of these modules and say, wait a minute. This isn't very lean and mean, is it? You look at all of this. Discussion, functions, responsibility, a quiz. Hey, what's going on? But they're not laborious. They're not all that time intensive. And they really do serve a purpose, because you cannot, and this is not the world according to me, you cannot formulate or offer or take a coherent position unless you've developed a strong repository of information. And information comes from in-depth reading and practice and writing, right? All those things have to come together. So what the quizzes are designed to do is to help promote that, kind of resuscitate maybe lost knowledge, or make them understand, or help them understand, hey, there's some gaps in here. And in order to do your competency-based projects, you're going to have a good baseline of knowledge, because this is not about your opinion. And you can also reiterate, and if they give you pushback on this, give them my cell phone number. This is the most writing-intensive profession, and it's the most writing-intensive discipline, because we can never be misunderstood. Now, I know a lot of you, all of you do great work. Let's just say negotiating some of the crises that some of these students fall into more often than not, because they've been used to one particular style of writing, or they were not necessarily evaluated, let's just say, with a high level of exactitude prior. But this program here is writing intensive. We have to be clear and coherent. The functions of the quizzes allow for, again, the development of a repository information that they need, or they need to go get. And once they have that, now they can put together a coherent, authentic, fact-based, let's say, presentation, or something along the lines that demonstrates their ability to think critically and solve problems in the community before they start. So I'm not going to run through every single one of these things. I think this is the glaring, not the issue, but this is important that you help calm their fears when they get to these mods, that they're not, because students, right, they're full of angst on Sunday night. What does my week look like? I've got 2, maybe 3 courses. Oh, look at this course, 005. Oh, it's mod 3. I'll never get through. Oh, help me, God. No. You don't have to give them mouth to mouth. Just let them know what to expect, just like the instructors do, and how to prepare, and that these things, the requirements or the activities and tasks in each mod are not going to bury them alive. All right. So let's go back to this. All right. So like I said, in essence, let's just say the jugular vein of our program is based in projects. So here's project 1. Students will dig into the different functions and responsibilities of police and law enforcement officers. They're looking at careers. It's nice to come out of the gate to say, look, what do you want to do? What do you think you're qualified for? And do you know what you need to be and how you need to be? What do you need to demonstrate in order to qualify for a very difficult position in the problem-solving public safety industry? So looking at functions, responsibilities, all those things, that's very traditional. That's not going away. It's good that they have to know that, but they're also going to look at theories of policing. Why do we do what we do, which is a big question all the time. So here's a project. You're about to graduate with a CJ degree from Southern New Hampshire University and are attending a job fair. To explore your possible careers, you're required to obtain information on policing or law enforcement career, either in one state local law enforcement or one in federal law enforcement. Now, this may seem like kind of rudimentary, right? Well, wait a minute. Don't they already know what they want to do? I'm sure many of you are going, oh, no, Jeff, they don't. And that's true. The thing about criminal justice and getting a job in policing is that we can teach them, okay, but we can't train them. And what does that mean? Many of the things that they're mostly responsible for, that they have to answer to, have nothing to do, in a sense, with course content from whatever they've studied. It's about character. It's about punctuality, responsibility, emotional intelligence. It's about not doing drugs. It's about having a good credit score. It's about having great references. It's about a character. It's all these things together. We can augment that and support that is naturally a higher education, because it does promote ethical thinking and critical thinking skills. All right. But it's also, they also need to be enlightened as to what over and above about themselves and about, and the career that they're interested in, what's required of them as people to become professionals. All right, so it's your responsibility to obtain information about career chosen, create a product that includes the functions, responsibilities, and jurisdictions of the role, which style of policing it most aligns with, etc. So it's a pretty involved thing, but it really is a good icebreaker of them to help make them make a coherent, authentic decision for themselves about the next 20 plus years of their life. Wish I had that. I had no idea what I was going to do. And so I was sitting in the comments of my high school one day with 3 or 4 of my friends. And we go, what are we going to do? I think it was our senior year. So I don't know. I think I'd be a cop. It sounds good. I couldn't balance a checkbook, so here I am. Project 2. Students will look at creating appropriate communication for specific audience, purposes, and tasks. Okay, so here's the project. Excuse me. You're a recruit in training in Miami-Dade County, Florida, working with the field training officer. That's an FTO who you've been assigned. Your first call of the shift is to a fatal car accident on a local highway. You see the information provided in the scenario. After analyzing the scene, your training officer asks you to create written communication while she deals with crowd and traffic control. Now, that may seem rather simple, but let me tell you, I'm sorry, I've got a cold, but I've been there, and it's nerve-wracking. And if you are a recruit, it's even more nerve-wracking. I remember the pen shaking in my hand as I tried to write down a recollection and tried to encapsulate what was going on at a particular event in detail and well organized. Project 3 for 205, students will look at the relationship between societal needs and professional practice by creating a community plan. Key word here, gang, is creating. It's not what it is. It's the fact that they are, like I said, there's a big difference in what they may be used to in terms relative to a traditional style of content delivery and assessment. This time, this puts the steering wheel in their hands. They steer it. They develop it. They're going to be asked what to think. And you know what? Students really love that. I'll give you a little sidebar. 2 weeks ago, in a part of our Contemporary Justice series here at the Department of Criminal Justice at Southern National University, we put together Contemporary Justice series number 4, and it was about mass shootings. So we collaborated with classes and courses and professors on campus, along with scores of our online students, and it was about what they thought about mass shootings in the various topics indigenous to mass shootings, such as mental health, gun laws, etc. And they would write all their notes down, get together as a workshop, and it's all going to be published. Let me tell you, there wasn't one silent student in that room. They were all engaged, because it was really asking them to demonstrate competency. What have they learned, and what can they offer? And they love creating. So this is good stuff. All right? You're going to like this. Constructors like it, and the students do like it. They're asked to think, or actually tell us what they think. So they're going to learn about police legitimacy, etc., public trust. Now here's the project. You've just transferred to the Los Angeles Police Department. Your supervisor would like you to assess the ongoing policing issues surrounding homelessness. Okay, big topic, big problem, through a community policing lens. This complex, long-standing issue needs a more proactive, positive approach. Now, some students may ask you, "What? I don't have to do that. Why do I?" No. The college-educated police officer is more apt to make correct and ethical decisions to me, and are asked on a grander scale today than they were yesterday to do things like this. And you can tell them that. Their job, when they hit the street, I don't care if they have an hour and a half on the street or 20 years, their job is to create now. Their job is to say, hey, you're a learned person, you've gone to the academy, you have a 4-year degree, whatever it may be. Get out there and produce. Tell us what we need to do. That is really the focus and fulcrum of community policing. Okay, it puts the power and empowers police officers on the street to make critical decisions and create resolution. So you see where we're going with this, right? It's pretty cool stuff. All right, here's something to note, and this comes from the design focus. Of course, focuses on policing and law enforcement and not the other branches of criminal justice. Make sure you communicate the point of the knowledge graded check, your knowledge quiz. And that's what I was alluding to before, trying to explain to the best of my ability before, to help students see where they should focus their energy, allocate their energy and time in the module and the post-module quiz as an assessment of what they learned and what they still need to learn to be successful. All right, so sell it. All right, you know what I mean? Sell it. Don't downplay the importance of it, but it's critical that they develop. Naturally they have to develop the strong skill of time management. that really is that's an industry standard for policing, corrections, etc. So that's just more, let's just say, clues and advice and counsel for you people and your folks. CJ207 Designers Corner video is coming. All right, and I'll let you know when you get that. And let's look at the syllabus. The United States judicial system, traditional in scope perhaps, or in title, but they're going to learn, they'll learn the instruction function of the U.S. court system through the lens of both sworn and civilian professionals. It's one thing about CJ majors, not all of them want to become cops. A lot of them get involved in a very vast system in some sort of either court-related role, corrections-related role, rehabilitation-related role, diversion-related role, whatever. So there's a lot of roles and jobs out there. So it's not just about policing per se. And if I look at some of the percentage over the years of all my CJ students I've had, about 60% of them don't want to become police officers, and some of them just couldn't pass muster, maybe pass a polygraph, or they're, let's just say, I don't know, they had a DWI or something, but it doesn't mean it would preclude them from getting a career someplace in the system helping people. All right? And you can see the course competencies. I won't read those to you. You'll see them and see them again. But you'll see actually what's critical about those is the taxonomy. Describe, analyze, and explain. All right? And that's what we do, isn't it? Officer, what happened? Tell us, can you describe the scene? And after that, what did you do? And why did you do it? Oh, please explain how that happened, right? I mean, all these things. If your students say, why am I doing this? I'm going to tell you something right now. Word for word, competency to competency, task to task, everything aligns with, all right, what we're required to do in the industry. And again, I'll put it out there. If they have any questions about that, push back. You have them call me. I'll tell them. Okay, or I'll put them in touch with Lieutenant Greg Morgan, LAPD, one of our great instructors, or Josh Rock, one of our, the top upper echelon members of the FBI in charge of the eradication of MS-13. He teaches for us, etc. I'll go right down the line and throw the kitchen sink to say if there's any issues relative to authenticity and relevance of content to the profession, we can clear that up really quick in a phone call. Okay, all right. So again, I'm not going to belabor the point. Take a look at some of these and you can see, oh, it looks heavy. It's not. All right, they're all high function. We are looking at them though. All right, and we are open to, and naturally we're all open to feedback. The whole design team, we're all saying, okay, we're keeping an eye on these things. We want to make sure that by good intentions we're not hurting people either, or robbing them of their critical time they need for a formative. Okay, so that's the syllabus. In short, Project 1. Students look at the organizational hierarchy and roles within the U.S. judicial system, all traditional. Now, that's what they have to do. Pretty cool stuff. You are the Director of Local Community Outreach for the Academy of Criminal Justice Sciences. If you don't know what that is the mothership of all things criminal justice. They pretty much dictate the parameters of CJ content, curriculum, etc. If you're going to be in this business, you have to belong to it and go to their really cool conferences, publish with them and speak with them, all that sort of thing. But they are all things CJ, if you're not familiar with them. Your position is to aid mid-sized cities in their efforts to educate citizens and about how to interact with the judicial system. Your position includes consulting, running community programs, and creating educational materials. Pretty cool, right? Your goal is to create an information poster or other visual aid that will help these cities educate the general population about the criminal justice system. That is great. It's also long overdue, because you're seeing an ever-increasing diversity no matter where you go. If you know Manchester at all, this has been for many years an international refugee center. So when I was on the street, I started to learn Bosnian. I learned Spanish. It helped when I wanted to stop and eat in the stores and the bodegas, etc. Right? When I first came here, it was about French. Right now, they speak 90 separate languages at Beach Street School. That's one of the downtown schools. 90. Okay, you get the picture. Project 2. All right, traditional function. You're a community outreach coordinator for your local chapter of the National Criminal Justice Association. A recent study found that people in your area are often unsure of core processes, procedure, and outcomes. As a result, they are often not able to make informed decisions at this critical time in their lives. Using this published research, you have applied for and been awarded a small grant to create community outreach materials to educate the public about core processes. Again, this may seem like an outlier. What does it have to do with policing? We live and die on on successful grant applications. And many of these grants, okay, are written by a team of grant writers with police and vice versa. I was involved in that when community policing monies first came out or were made available back during the Clinton era in the 1990s. I tell you, a lot of police departments fell on their face because they could not adequately or accurately complete a grant application. So we do these things. Hang on, my Great Dane is barking. He barks like he'll scare the daylights out of it, but he's afraid of paper towels. Okay, project 3. All right. How are we doing so far? We good? Check. All right. Thank you. Okay. The U.S. Department of Justice recently recruited law enforcement professionals from around the world with the intent to resettle them in different communities around the United States in order to diversify local police departments. This is not fantasy, you know. These professionals have a background in CJ, but they lack knowledge of specific U.S. criminal justice practices and need instruction how the U.S. Supreme Court cases dictate the actions of professionals in police, courts, and corrections. You've been asked to create materials that will be included in a handbook that they're going to use as part of their onboarding. Not bad, huh? So that, in a nutshell, is what it is. So, like I said, I'll send this to you. Any questions about preparation, any questions about, what, if students have questions as to what, how, where, when, and why is this being required of me? Why do I have to write so well? Why do I have to create these things? I just want to be a blank. Okay, let me know. I'll be more than happy to flesh this out. Maybe, I don't know, enhance to give it some more authenticity. I don't know, whatever the word may be to say, this stuff is really great. Would you recommend these courses for students not in a CJ program elective? Oh, that's a great question. It really is student dependent. As long as they understand that these aren't fluff. You guys don't understand. Police science, criminal justice, a lot of people don't see it as a very difficult or demanding, right? Discipline per se. It's about cops and biceps and guns and all kinds of cool stuff, and it's not. It's about writing. It's about communication. It's about critical thinking, problem solving. It's about good grammar. All right, organization. So if they have those things and you recognize that, Kristen, you think they'll survive in that, I'm not going to say no to that. You never know. They might switch majors once they see how cool this is. And thank you. And the thing about it, if your students have any questions about the program, I'll talk to them. Let me know. Anytime. So far, so good. Any other questions? I know it went kind of fast. I know you guys are busy as all heck. My human servant. Yeah, they do like them. Yeah, Kyle. Well, I mean, so closely related. My master's degree is in human service administration. I mean, they're, house and garage. So it does. It's good that they get a well-rounded view. I heard it best sometimes. The definition of, the optimal, say, public safety person, i.e., police officer, is a human being who understands the human condition, recognizes problems, and create a remedy. Yeah, creative writing students. Yep. But again, this is a writing. Okay. Oops. I work with general studies right now. We are offering concentrated CJ and criminology. We work in these. They're not reworking. Aaron, good question. They're not being reworked. This is a brand new development, and it only has a very limited crosswalk from EW1 and EW2, and after this term, it's over. There is a criminology and crime analysis concentration coming, but it does not resemble the one that's living and breathing now. Okay. And again, if there are any questions about, students not being able to quote, finish their program that they're on now, that's not true. All right. We have a long and extended teach out process, and no student will be left behind, stuck without a course, even if it requires, a CBA or whatever. I'm not worried about that. Okay. Yeah, Rosalind, I tell you right now, you got to understand the initial core of subject matter experts that I brought in from my Rolodex, were incredibly diverse. We had and these are people at the top of the food chain, just, well experienced, highly educated practitioners. We had African Americans, Latinas, we had everybody. I mean, we had a great representation, and they all said the same thing, because many of them were responsible for hundreds and hundreds of employees at the state, local, and federal levels, corrections and otherwise. They said it's about communication. It's about communication and everything under that, okay? All the skill sets and requirements, traits, whatever you want to call them, okay, that contribute to the development of a person who's excellent at communication, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of who they're talking to, who they're working with. We're looking to develop culturally competent, not culturally sensitive. Culturally sensitive means you know how to order a Taco Bell. Really, honest to God, not to be facetious, but it doesn't really rise above that. Okay? It does help with respect and honor, but culturally competent means you're able to communicate with anyone from any background, any ethnicity, any cultural background. It doesn't matter. You can communicate in those circles with ease and with success. And that's one of the driving purposes of the program and the projects, right? It is. I'm telling you, like I said, a retired police officer is everything. 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 It's how people are treated. It's so similar, the similarities between that and what students expect, right? Anyway, hang on a second. That's my plow guy calling. I always tell the faculty, it's not what you're doing, it's what you're saying. It's how you're treating your student, because I've never read an end-of-term comment from a student that said, boy, Mod 5, that essay was awesome. No, they go, Mod 5. Professor Smith called me and walked me through an assignment and made me and brought my confidence levels up, right? Isn't that what we do out there in the street? A lot of people know we don't solve their crimes. We can't sometimes. You just can't. But if they know that we can give them closure, we give them respect, we give them some compassion, whatever it may, that's really what it's all about. And that's why, anyway, he's in his drive. So I have a plow guy in my driveway, and he's also stuck. Yeah. Anyone have any questions? And if you do, just send me an email or give me a shout anytime. Here's my cell phone number, all right? It's my personal cell phone number. I have it on me all the time. It's stuck to me like hair. So if you have any questions, you call me anytime, 7 days a week. If your students have any questions, they can call me too. Okay? How we doing? We good? All right. Now, thank you guys. I know you got a hard job. You know where to get a hold of me, right? Right by the neck. Yeah, the plow guy is my son-in-law. I love him. He's a great guy. Yeah, yeah, I know it. Well, let me see if I'm going to get discount. The quote's like $170. Like, get out of here. I'll get out there with a spoon before I spend that kind of money. Thanks, you guys. Have a great day. I'll be downloading this too and sending it on.